Happy birthday to me. Hello Internet, today is Friday, December the 9th, and I do not have to think about that date only because, as I said before, it's my birthday. Really quickly, I just wanted to go over some cards that I got from the Conjuring Arts Society. Now, when they're advertised online, they're labeled as professional bicycle decks. And they come in two different styles, and what I'll do is here, I'll open one up. Let's make sure I'm opening the right one. Air cushion finish. There we go. Now they came in two separate types of styles. One was the air cushion finish, and the other one was what they call the ivory finish. More on that later. Now just let me get some saran wrap off to one side. Oh, I hate winter. It's always so dry. I ordered myself a brick, and with the brick you get 6 of the air cushion, 6 of the ivory. And Fort Knox these boxes. There we go. Now, I'll do a close-up of the decks later on, but as you can see, it's a standard bicycle deck. There's nothing unusual about these decks at all as far as the fronts of the faces. The jokers are colored. That's the only thing that I find unusual. I'm not sure if I like the colored jokers, mind you. But what I really find interesting was the fact that USPC is allowing people to do stuff to their cards. Now, I always thought that they weren't allowing that anymore, which was why the mandolins were being printed. But I guess because they're not altering the design, just the finish, USPC is allowing this. I'm not sure if the jokers come colored in the 808, like standard 808s. If they do, fine. If not, it's been ages since I've actually opened a regular deck of bicycle cards. And so this is basically what you're getting. You're getting a deck of regular bikes. If I show you the box, the only difference on the box, I'm not sure if you can see that. There we go. It says professional on the box. It's got your standard blue seal, air cushion made in the USA. Got the full the full back design on the box here. So that if you wanted to, you could always do like an effect that required doing that. In Canada, we got a barcode here, so that just sucks balls. The ivory finishes, the only difference is the word ivory finish over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing the camera around and stand up and just go over a few of the things as far as looks. Okay, so here's the deck. And let's see if we can just get the angle right. I'm not sure if we can. It might be hard to see just because of the light. But regular bicycles have the dimples on the cards that allows them to glide smoothly. However, this ivory finish, it is smooth as a baby's bottom. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the lines on the card. Now here you can see the design on the white, like the pattern. Now if I just slide this over, you notice that there is no pattern, no dimples, no cushion for the finish on these decks. It is smooth. Now, the only thing that I think of that I can compare these to are Lee Asher's Fournier cards, which are printed by an entirely different company. But if you look, like you can tell just by the sheen on these things, they're smooth as well. Though these ones feel a little thicker than the bicycle ones. And that's the major difference. Out of the box, these things fan fine. Like they fan perfectly. It's just there's nothing wrong with them. These ones here, this goes on this deck, and these cards here, these are the ivory finish cards. They fan fine just as well. I don't find anything unusual with these cards, and that leads me to believe at this point in time I'm not qualified really to distinguish which deck is better. I think it might be at this point in time it's a personal choice. The deck is also, if I'm not mistaken, cut slightly better on a different angle as far as like the bevels here, so that it's easier to ferro and riffle. I'm trying to demonstrate that now unsuccessfully. There we go. And I gotta say that's a lot smoother than doing it with a regular deck. It's like they were made for this. It's like, a little bit of pressure, boom, and they're in. And that's the same with these ones. The only difference between the two is the back. They handle the same. I've done tricks with both of these decks. They handle the same. They feel the same as far as like thickness, quality of stock. These ones feel just slightly thicker, but I think it might be because my hands aren't used to touching smooth cards. Maybe the finish that's on these ones is a little bit thicker. Let's see, hold on. These ones actually feel just a little bit stiffer, but it could be the finish or the shellac that's on the cards. But that's really it. The Conjuring Arts Society, as I said, has a ton of different decks available that are out there for you to purchase. They do sheets, they do bricks, they do bulk, you name it, they do it. What the Conjuring Arts Society does is they only allow these cards to members initially. And then once the members, after a set amount of time, have had a chance to purchase the decks, they open it up to the public. And I was on their website the other day, and they have a shit ton of cards. It's unbelievable. They got a tribute to Erdnase on the back. They have these. They have tons and tons of different decks. And they also have uncut sheets. Now, and this leads me up to my next statement. And it might be a bit of, I don't know, perhaps, I wouldn't say jealousy. I personally think that Illusionists started the custom card market. Up until recently, within the last like 5 or 6 years, actually previously to the 5 or 6 years, magicians really only used like one of two types of decks that were available, bicycles or tally-hos. There are some other decks out there that people preferred to use because they were readily available, like this, I forget the name of them, but you can get them from a drugstore down in the States. They're a hell of a lot thinner than bikes or anything like that. They're actually really good for palming. But really, the number of choices available were very, very limited. If you're in North America, 3 choices. I'm not sure what's available overseas. And then came along Illusionist, put out the first deck, the Black Tigers, and then it just progressed from there. And for the longest time, Illusionist pretty much, I would say, had the market cornered, but they were really the only ones printing different decks. Magic makers tried to get in there with a couple really ugly decks. Oh my God! Their black deck was like it was raping my eyes. It was horrible to look at. But it seems that everybody's getting in on it now, and I'm not sure if the market's being saturated. I'm not sure if there's just too much out there. I'm not sure if the choices are just to me, it seems that everyone who is harping on Illusionist for, magicians should use standard decks, should only use this, should only use that. It seems all those guys now are jumping on the bandwagon. Like the Conjuring Arts Society, seriously, some of those guys over there, like the old-fashioned, fuddy-duddies, I guess you could call them. That genre of magician, they were the biggest detractors of all the custom deck, that Illusionist started. I could take you to forum posts and stuff like that where some of the old-timers or those stuck in the old-fashioned mentality just had nothing good to say about Illusionists, the Tiger decks, the Ghost decks, etc., etc. But I guess people realize that there's a demand for variety. There's a demand for higher quality. There's a demand for something that's more attractive. And therein is a pitfall of sorts. What happens when you run out of cards to design, when you just saturate the market so much that people don't care? And I think this is kind of along the lines like where Illusionist is going with some of their custom cards. They're no longer sticking with the traditional fronts or backs. They're actually, they're designing different fronts, pips, having things that look a little more elegant. I'm not going to... There's very few custom decks out there that I've seen that look horrible. I could name a few, but I won't. I don't want to try and keep this professional. And I know that, like those of you who, think Theory 11 is the shit, all their cards are the bomb. Like, you got to remember, where did it come from first? Like, Illusionist started it. They may be doing some smart stuff over there. I have no idea. I don't really, go on to other magic shops that often. But you have to admit that Illusionist started it all. Like, this is where it originated. It doesn't matter who's doing what. It started in one place, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts as to who that was. So, And again, it all goes back to what I said about custom cards. If you want to use custom cards, if you want to use black decks, blue decks, green decks, yellow decks, by all means, go ahead and use those decks. If you're comfortable with them, fine. You might have some issues trying to find gaffs or make your own gaffs with them, but if that's what you want to use, go ahead. The Conjuring Arts decks, this is the second brick I've gotten from them. I think I got a like the Erdnase backs as well, which are just basically a standard deck of cards with, you know, different color backs, different color fronts. Really nothing to write home about. Oh, excuse me. But the real issue is, like, you know, is the market becoming too saturated? Like, honestly, I don't feel it is. As long as cards remain a consumable item, as long as, you know, there's going to be those people that just like treat them like, like the family jewels. You know, don't get them dirty. You know, wash your hands before you touch your cards. Oh my gosh, you bent a card. How could you? God forbid you do card warp. But there's always going to be those who feel like, you know, their cards should last forever. A deck should last as long as the deck needs to last. That's all I have to say about that. But if you want to try something different, I gotta say, I'm at a loss to explain like what to do with these. Like they don't feel like any card that I'm used to. And like, I guess I've only ever touched like regular bicycles with this the weird finish for the longest time. That could be why Lee Asher went with the Fourniers with his smooth design as well. But what I find interesting is like the cards handle well, they behave well, they do exactly what they're supposed to do. My only issue is with myself, not with the cards. In the winter, especially like this time of year, my skin just dries out, and like trying to play with a brand new deck of cards, like I might as well just like, they squirt out of my hands like there's no tomorrow. It's just ridiculous how hard it is to hold on to a brand new deck of cards. I actually have to dirty them up sometimes in order for me to get some sort of grip. Can't use lotion because that just greases my fingers up, and then in turn, when you apply that to the cards with transfer, when you go to fan, you end up with as you fan, you end up like with a big block like that. You know, let's make it more transparent. There, something like that, because of the residue that's left behind. So the issue I have is just with any new deck that I would ever open in this time of year. Like that's my problem. Dry skin, dry hands, dry cards. That's, you know, that's how it goes. But if you want to try something new, go for it. These cards, they're affordable. They're not super expensive. I think the 12 of them cost me like 50 or 60 bucks. Which is par for the course for like the custom decks and stuff like that. The only people who get discounts on bikes is Bicycle themselves, because they print millions, not thousands, and you know that's where you make your money, is in quantity. So pick them up. I do believe you may have to wait for some of the cards if you're going to purchase them. I'm not sure if these ones are available to the general public yet, but they might be. Just Google Conjuring Arts Society, and you should be able to go ahead and at least view the website. And if I'm not mistaken here, let me just find the card that I saw in here. It's not on these ones, it's over here. The askalexander.org is a magical database, which I guess the Conjuring Arts Society is using these cards to help fund, to help stay in business. As we all know, there's not that much money to be made in magic. So on that note, there you go. And as I said, today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. You know, fantastic. I am debating if I actually want to go buy myself a gift. I'm thinking I might want to buy the Canon T3i as a camera, because I want to start getting into some nice photography. And from what I told, my friend Peter McKinnon says that's a kick-ass camera for doing high-def video. It's either that, or because I'm a freak, I'm not sure if I've shown you all my phones. I have four cell phones. I have the Apple 3G, the Sony Android X10, the Telus Fascinate, which I think is the Vibrant or something like that, the Samsung phone down in the States, and then I have a Google Nexus S. And today or yesterday, the Google Nexus, the next generation of Android phones, which is running Android 4.0, dual-core processor, super duper screen, blah 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 blah, has just come out here in Canada. So I'm debating whether or not I want to go buy myself that as an early birthday gift. Problem is, though, I'd have to buy it from one company, unlock it. Actually, no. The good thing about the Nexus phones is you don't have to unlock them. Google doesn't lock them to a specific carrier. At least here in Canada, from what I understand, Verizon in the States is doing something a lot worse. But as I was saying, it's either the camera, the kick-ass camera, or the phone, which, from what I understand, is also high-def video recording. Obviously, not going to be as good as the camera, because the camera is meant to take images. The phone is just, its first function is to, take phone calls, I guess. But I think it's going to be a toss-up. I don't think I'm going to buy myself anything yet, but those are the two gifts I'm kind of leaning towards for myself. So you guys have a really good weekend. It's Friday. It was snowing out today here. Let me just show you what this looks like. It's so bleak outside. Turn, 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 turn. So, like, it's just, ugh. Like, imagine having to look at that every single day. Like, no color. It's just green and brown, green and brown. And when the snow comes, at least it's white and brown. But it's Christmas is coming up here. You know what? Let's show you. Let's take a walk over here. Here's our Christmas tree. So this was set up last weekend. You know, got the angel and the trees and stuff like that. And let's see if I can show you this down here, guys. You might notice that there are several ornaments, or several layers of ornaments down around knee level. That's because our 3-year-old daughter, for the first time, helped decorate the tree. And of course, she's only going to decorate where she can reach. So there is a plethora of ornaments down here, whereas up here, it's a little bit sparse, more sparse, but still pretty. So you guys, Merry Christmas. I know I'm going to be talking to you. Going to have a few more videos for you between now and then. I've got Metal 2 and 3 coming up. Going to be looking at those. I've watched those multiple times already. Liquid Metal, even though I've watched a few times, I'll have to talk about that a little bit. As well as I still have Pure Smoke I need to talk about. But between now and then, if I don't talk to you, if you don't watch any of my videos, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope everything's good. Hey guys, really quickly, I forgot to show you one major feature of these decks. In the box, doing this one-handed, if you go ahead and peek in there, you've got like some stuff here. But if you go look at it like this, there we go. Your card is the 7 of Hearts. Do you see it? Neat little reveal on the inside of the box. And let's see, is it the same on this one? A Jack of Spades. So I wonder if there's a different reveal in every box. That would be a pain in the ass. But there's a neat little reveal in there. Not sure if that makes a difference. And let me see here. 5, 7. The barcodes on these things on the bottoms, every single one is different. Now, perhaps I'm just not observant, but I don't think there's a reason for all the decks to have to... Oh, you know what? There is a reason for all the decks to have different barcodes. Because, silly me, I didn't notice that until now. Let's get the glare out of the way. Got to turn around, the glare's too much. Ah, there we go. I thought that was a barcode. Silly me. That's hilarious. That's actually pretty ingenious. You know what? That's pretty smart of them. So you got 7 of Hearts here, and then Jack of Spades there. I'm not sure if the number actually represents anything. Maybe that's just the skew number of the actual Jack of Spades. This one. Let's see here. We got Jack of Spades, diamonds, Ace of Spades. So they're all different. So there you go. Built-in reveal on all these cards. What a mess, eh?